We're bringing the stream to life. We're doing it live. We're setting the stream up tonight. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Saturday night on HermitCraft 10. Everything's alright. Unless you're a captain who lost his leg to a whale who bit it off, and now you got a whalebone peg, and you're obsessed with hunting that whale? Ahab, Ishmael, Queequeg, Tashtego. That's right, we're reading Moby Dick tonight. Kai Farem in the Twitch chat writes, whale time, whale time. Everybody grab your whale. Whale time, whale time. Let's hear Ishmael's tale. Welcome one and all. Welcome iconic anemone, Estilio, Lizzie Mac 2010, Surfer the Z, Book Fanatic. I hope you're having a day that's fantastic. Welcome to the stream. We don't play music before the stream because we don't want to get a copyright struck on Saturday night when we read Moby Dick about the Pacific and the blacksmith Perth. All right, let's go for the show. Ew, it's Karma. Writes hello. Opossum Bloom and Miss Gold Fox. Welcome one and all Jason So 1704. Welcome Ninja Wizard. Hope you're excited about reading Moby Dick, because that's what we're doing tonight. Okay, so here we go. I am super pumped to get on with the show. It has been a super busy couple days. Okay, so real quick, anybody who is waiting for HermitCraft 10 episode 50, it is still on the way. When I originally said I think I should have it done by Thursday, what I meant was I should have it done by Thursday, because if I don't have it done by Thursday, Friday is going to be slammed with tax stuff, getting those 1099 NECs out the door. And then Saturday is my daughter's birthday party, and I've got half a dozen small children coming over, and I'm going to lose the entire day. I didn't lose the whole day. I invested it in my child feeling appreciated. So that paid off, I think. She had a great time. The kids had a great time. It was a great party for children. It was a lot, but it worked out well for the kids. So here's the thing, is basically very little work got done on episode 50 yesterday or today. So I'm going to have to come back around to it tomorrow. It is still the plan to get that out as soon as possible. I am always optimistic about my ability to do new things quicker than is reasonable. And so, yeah, I am tempering those expectations within myself for the next interview. We'll have a more realistic... I'm going to just promise a 1 week turnaround next time. That was silly. Drew Baca says, howdy y'all, got my TCG cards today. I'm unboxing them right now. Woo! I hope you get some good ones, Drew Baca. I hope you get a Juppet. Man, seeing people's photos of their cards, like... Luigra's artwork is amazing. I am so fortunate to have gotten to work with Luigra on this. And I don't use those words lightly. That was an exceptionally fun project to art direct with Luigra. Some of the hermits were way more hands-off. They just said, I'll let my illustrator do it. But I've worked as an art director before, and I was a little dusty at it. And I was like, man, I need to get back in the groove on art directing. So I'm going to really try and be as involved in this project as I can without stepping on Luigra's toes. But I really felt like it all came back to me. And Drew Baca says just pulled, and it's a holographic Joe Hills. The Juppet pulling the fireworks, Joe hanging by the trident. Yeah, like, so all of these cards were a conversation, and I'm really proud of my part, but I'm super thrilled and impressed by Luigra's part too. So, yeah, I am so excited. NBN says, it was a lot, sounds like a perfect kids party. Yeah, I know, right? All the other parents were like, oh boy, thank you for giving us a few hours to go out and have sushi. All the other parents were coming back and being like, oh, we went and did this really relaxing thing we never get to do. And we didn't have to pay for a babysitter. This was great. And we're just like, thank you for coming to pick up your child on time. We really appreciate it. Okay. Miss Gold Fox is so jealous, so excited to get my cards. Don't worry, they're on their way. I haven't gotten mine yet either, Miss Gold Fox. Hey, welcome, Stu, my guy. Welcome, Only E. Glad you could be here. DeFlanco in the Twitch chat. Simply Lost as well. But yeah. Yeah, we are going to read Moby Dick. That is literally what we're doing. Every Saturday night, we read a few chapters of Moby Dick while I work on this project. If you haven't noticed, this project is very large. Yeah. Drew Baca says, I am, as Joe Hills is famous for saying, chuffed to bits. Yep, we do have the other exciting stuff this weekend. My only thing I have to do tomorrow besides edit is, or the only thing I get to do tomorrow besides that, the only excuse I have to stop editing tomorrow is that our Patreon SMP server is having their Groundhog Day parade hosted by Kindleless in his, skyblock area of the map where he has built some sort of crazy redstone machine that destroyed all the bedrock and everything above the bedrock. So there's going to be some sort of parade over the void. That should be interesting. I will be your host and judge for that. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, I was trying to find the what we're reading link. And then I feel like this is the wrong chapter. So let me find the right chapter. Because we finished 110 last week, I think. So we're on 111. So I need to update the what we're reading link and pin it before we actually start reading Moby Dick. What we're reading. Da 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 da. Pin message. Pin message. Okay. It is 10th Orward's birthday tomorrow, too. Oh, that's true. We did launch around then. Nemeril says, my library's February Read Harder challenge is to find a book about obsession to read. Moby Dick is perfect for that. It actually is. It is a book about obsession. The theme of the book is obsession. It's Melville's obsession to talk about whales. And the white whale in particular is Ahab's obsession. But okay, so real quick, before we go, we got our first tip of the stream. I haven't even posted the tipping link yet. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. And thank you very much to our first tipper of the stream, Andrew. Andrew has asked, please don't read this message on stream. So I'm not reading out loud, but I thank you. Andrew, thank you for the kind words. Don't worry, that is exactly the sort of thing that, I would think of. And fantastic suggestion, but it's not the sort of thing that hasn't been anticipated, entertained, and pursued as diligently as possible before. But thank you very much, Andrew, for the suggestion and the kind words. Appreciate your support of the show. That puts us now 19 away from the next Face Camera expansion milestone. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Drew Baca says, OMG, these deck boxes are awesome. I haven't seen them in person yet. Even though I've got my cards, which I'm holding up like right here, I haven't seen the deck boxes. It's definitely something that I would like to see soon. I'm hoping, I don't know if I get a, so I didn't actually buy anything. The Hermits got a discount if we bought stuff, but I couldn't afford to buy stuff even with the discount. So they said, don't worry, we'll send you a few things anyway. So I get whatever few things they're going to send me anyway. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing whatever I get. But I have literally no idea what it is. Okay, so one thing that we definitely need to do is we need to go repair our tools before we pursue the rest of this adventure here. I need to set my status to streaming and do not disturb. And we're going to pull... We have a few elytras we need to fix, and we have some tools that we need to fix. So there's the 2 elytras that need repair. And... Oh, actually, we're okay on tools. So then we fill the rest of the inventory here with scaffolding. So we don't have, what do you call it, problems. So we don't have ender pearl problems. Okay. So let's go ahead and fly on over. Angelina says, sneaking in some Joe Hills while I'm on a 10-minute break. No, that's true. I've got a science fiction poem. I think I published it. About kind of the idea that in the future, when people are basically working every waking hour, that, like, there's this guy... Yeah, I had this dream. This is based on a dream that I had. That was like, it was like in a sci-fi future where, like, you had to work all the time you're awake. And this guy's goal is to watch the entire film Birdman before he dies. And he's like, he can, like, he can only watch, like, a few seconds at a time. And it's like his life's work to try to complete this film. Because they do get, like, breaks, but the breaks are, like, 7 seconds a day. Is the movie Birdman a real movie? Yeah. And the thing is, if I was writing this poem, and it wasn't from a dream, I would have made something up. But in the dream, it was Birdman, and that just kind of spoke to me. And all of the action in the film Birdman is super frantic, too. And so I think that might have... I had watched Birdman, like, right before I had the dream. Like, that's 100% it. But also the film itself, it has this, like, continuous improvisational drum track. Like, they literally showed a drummer the movie and said, hey, can you just play drums while you watch this movie? And then they, like, had him go play the drums in the background of the movie at one point based on what he had already recorded. They're like, okay, we're going to film you and edit you into the background playing the drums that are in the backing track so it lines up. It was a weird... It's a really interesting artistic movie. The noise. And Angelina Gale says, never seen Birdman. Might consider watching it a bit at a time in my 10-minute breaks in the future. Honestly, it's such a weird movie. Watching it 10 minutes at a time, you might actually get a lot out of it. Like, it's not what the director intended. Because one of the other... Okay, so the other interesting thing about Birdman is the way that it's shot. It looks like the camera never stops following the main character. Like, the camera just continuously... It's like one continuous shot for the entire movie. Which is really technically challenging for the people making the movie to do. But so the idea, though... that in a movie where the director went through all this work to create a continuous sequence, the viewer is only able to watch a few moments at a time. I think also just kind of like my brain like latched onto that somehow. Welcome, Angelina Gale. Glad to have you. Dun 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 dun. Welcome, Gusty Gale. Oh, we got 2 Gales. Oh, you guys are saying hi to each other. Okay, I get it now. That makes more sense. I was like, I'm pretty sure Angelina Gale said hi to me earlier. Oh, no, Angelina's saying hi to Gusty Gale. They can be Gale Pails. That's 2 buckets that have a lot in common and become friends. I don't know what we're doing. I am so tired. This is a no caffeine stream. Because I need to collapse after this. This has been a very long and busy day. Oh, no. I need to do payroll after this because it's the first of the month. And then I need to collapse. Oh, my gosh. Hey, we got our first tip of this... Or, no, second tip of the stream. Because we already got the one from Andrew. Mintus tips 19 and says, it's time to expand. Thank you very much, Mintus. Please direct your attention to slot 9 where I'm putting the hot in the hot bar so I can say, howdy, y'all. Grow Hills here, expanding as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. Day-da-dee-da-day, day-da-dee-da-day, Okay. So, let's, okay. What did I decide I was going to try and do during the stream? I have a few things, I have a few tasks on my task board. I think one of them was to remove the... One of them was to remove all the dirt around the bottom and replace it with the proper, stuff. So that might be a good reading Moby Dick task. Good day, man. These are weekends. DeFlanco, you don't have to... In fact, I would say please don't watch the stream from both services. If you want to pop out the chat so you don't miss conversation, that's one thing. But, like, literally, the video is the same from both. It's just an ecological waste of energy. I don't need viewership numbers. The folks who support the stream financially by giving me money are what make the stream work. I don't get any revenue based on the number of views. And so, you know, as somebody who has a child, I would rather the earth not burn. But yeah. So, where was I? Okay. So we are going to go around and collect... Wait, what is this? Smooth sandstone and chisel sandstone. Okay. In terms of ice, I think I left a bunch of surplus ice over here. We're going to go get that. Welcome, Yellow Clay Creates. We haven't started reading the book yet. We are going to be jumping in to chapter 111 shortly. I'm still in the setting up phase of the stream. Getting a little bit of a slow start after an incredibly fast-paced day. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's just been go, 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 go. I could have sworn I had left some ice here, but I'm guessing I probably moved it over there already, and I'm just missing it. Open Bag 2 says, oh, Ember Elmwinch says, I was just about to go rewatch one of your HermitCraft seasons, but you're live, yay. And then Open Bag 2 says, I was just watching Classic Joe myself. Which season? I can say Open Bag 2 was definitely just rewatching the Season 6 Weaponized Architecture Rapidly Deployed episodes. Not because I have some sort of hummingbird-sized spy drone outside of Open Bag 2's apartment, but because Open Bag 2 commented on the video. So, I try to read every comment. I think that's important. So yeah, thank you for commenting on that video earlier, Open Bag 2. And just so you guys know, I do, like, recognize your names. If you're a regular, I do recognize you. Like, I'm gonna say, here's the thing, is I'm gonna caveat that also with, if I have met you before at a convention, and you come say hi to me at PAX, you might need to reintroduce yourself, because honestly, I'm really bad with faces. Like, if somebody gets a haircut or is wearing a different shirt, you might say, Joe, that doesn't mean that their face changed. And I'd be like, yeah, but like I wasn't good at their face the first time, so I was using shirt color and haircut to help remember who they were. And then if they changed either, I'm now just in bad shape. I am not the best at faces. But yeah. But yeah, thank you for the kind words on that video, Open Bag 2. MB Andy says, being recognized by Joe Hills in public instead of the other way around sounds terrifying. Well, you've got to be remarkably consistent with your haircut and clothing choices. Draco Kate says, I get that. I'm more of a, oh, I know I've seen them before, but I have no clue what their name is. And Sanji says, hey, Joe and chat, welcome. Drew Baca has just posted in the Discord more TCG polls, all 4 tinfoil chef cards. Yeah, those look amazing. I hope I get those. Or, wait, I think I will. I'm not sure exactly. I should figure that out. I'm like, how much energy do I want to spend on figuring out exactly what they said they would send me if I could just wait a few days and then find out and be surprised? Miss Gold Fox says, it is fun to meet Joe in person. He's exactly the same, which I appreciate. Yeah! No, that was the first thing Cleo said to Badger when we all met in London. Cleo goes, oh, Christ, he's really like this. And Badger's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, that should make things easier, right? Cleo's like, I guess. In fairness, though, Cleo is exactly the same in person as online, too. Like, we are both very, we're not doing shows where we play characters. You know what I mean? But yeah, I do like the idea that Cleo just really hoped on some level that I was just like Stefan Urkel instead of Steve Urkel. Now, that's not a reference Gemini Tay would get. Evening, Mumbo and Scar. But, no, and genuinely, oh my god. I shouldn't say genuinely. Jem does not know who Steve Urkel was. And that was a huge moment. Jem never watches any movies. I know, right? Hey, Mombo. Okay. But yeah, the kids... Everybody's like, I think the kids are going to be all right. I was like, well, they don't know who Steve Urkel is, so I have my doubts. It's Urkel. Steve Urkel was one of the most recognizable figures on American television for a decade. And apparently he immediately dropped from cultural relevance. Yeah. Yeah, he was the nerdy next-door neighbor on the show Family Matters. His big catchphrase, as Prodigy 316 points out, was, did I do that? He had an iconic wardrobe. He would offer people, anybody want any cheese? He'd offer people cheese. It's just... Miss Gold Fox says, Joe even told me I'm not good at ranking things when I asked which pinball game was the best at the meetup place. So awesome. It's weird to me. It didn't occur to me. It did not occur to me that would be cool to you guys, that I'm not lying to you that I'm bad at ranking things, but I guess that would be a fun, like, when I think about it from that other point of view, I could see how that would be cool, but, like, no, I'm really not good at ranking things. Rad Nicole says, I just looked up Steve Urkel and he looks like the nerd emoji. The nerd emoji was designed around Steve Urkel, basically. Scott Hart says, Jem's from Newfoundland, so it's different in rural. So many rural areas wouldn't have had cable. No, it wasn't on cable. It was on broadcast television. It was on ABC, the American Broadcasting Company, which obviously Canada would have. But yeah, no, I mean, Jem has talked a little bit about like what kind of television was on in Newfoundland. Apparently, Newfoundland primarily got like British shows, like because even though it's a Canadian province, it's like particularly closely linked to England. Mind of Me says, rural Canada had CBC at least. Family Matters was on CBC and reruns until at least 2000. I mean, I don't know how old Jem is, but I don't know if Jem was old enough in the year 2000 to watch Family Matters. I don't know. Okay, it was on after Full House. TGIF, you would have Perfect Strangers, which spun off Family Matters. And then there's Full House. Perfect Strangers. Incredible show. Drewbaka says, pulled a second Hollow Joe. Which Hollow? Is it the same, is it the same Juppet flying one? Or is it a different Joe card? Lakshmi13 says, I thought Urkel was so cool and I was so mad at Laura. I think her name was, yeah, that was Laura, for treating Urkel so badly. Chalice Puma Sway says, I did not get any rare Joe Hills. Well, it's a trading card game. So here's good news for everybody who's a big fan of Joe Hills. That's like you guys in the chat here. There are a ton of Grian and Mumbo fans who ordered these cards who have no idea who I am. They will trade away their Joe Hills cards like nothing. It is way easier to find somebody who doesn't want their Joe Hills card than somebody who does not want their Mumbo card. I'm just saying. Like, I normally... You know, as Skiz pointed out, oh God, what is that quote? I told Skiz that he needed to get it tattooed on him. Comparison is the thief of joy. I was like, Skiz, I was listening to your podcast. I love that quote, comparison is the thief of joy. I think you should get that tattooed on you. But first, make Impulse get it tattooed on him, and then make yours a little bit nicer. But, yeah, really, like, I try not to, like, look at numbers and stuff, or think about numbers in terms of viewership and stuff, because it really shouldn't affect the art that I'm making, or my approach to life. But when people are, like, sad they didn't get a Joe Hills card, I'm like, this is the one case where this is actually relevant, and it's a win for you guys. Don't worry. You can get a Joe Hills card. Go meet other people who are fans of HermitCraft. You will get a Joe Hills card from somebody who really loves Mumbo and has never heard of me. Howdy, I'm Silly Business. Welcome, welcome. People are saying the Creo Discord is good for trading in. Yeah, it seems legit to me. Creo runs it. Scott Hart says, in rural Canada, the culture of watching TV wasn't there. So she didn't watch TV because her parents probably grew up with 2 channels on the antenna. Most of my cousins who grew up in Nova Scotia were mostly just listening to the radio. No, that's fair. That makes sense. Rubaka has posted in the Discord a signed pearl. Ah, that looks so good. Oh my god, Scar! What are you doing? Can you hear me?
No, I can't. I just want to point out, Joe.
Okay.
I was tuning into the show.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be writing Moby Dick. I know. I'm tired. I'm getting a slow
We're
start.
gonna get to Mr. Moby and his it's I really did. God damn it! Didn't mean it that way. God damn it.
We're off the
When
rails
I get
here.
tired, I say weird things.
Yeah, I know you do. I was gonna let it
Dang
slide.
it. Yeah, but thank you for letting it slide. Okay. I was just gonna say, Joe, to his viewers, has the best TCG card in my opinion. The Muppet flying up in the air. I failed to remember the artist.
It's Louis Gras.
Best card. Just it's so funny. Like the colors, the texture of like the fur. Oh, it's phenomenal. It's my favorite. It's my favorite card outside my abs. I got it. I got, just for the vanity of Hawkeye's big ego, he's got to have the, you got to give him the abs. But yours is so cool. I'm really hoping when I open up a pack, I get the Joe fuzzy guy.
Yeah, I gotta say, Scar, your whole hot guy persona though, it really does make me think. The one thing that I don't do on the stream that we joke or the one thing I joke about on the stream that I haven't really incorporated into the skins is we joke about my green screen tank tops and also crop tops. Like I've got a crop top sweater. And like unfortunately in real life I don't have incredible abs. But on some level part of me is always like if I was going to go to the gym again, it would be so that my season 3 TCG card could be me in like a green crop top with incredible abs, but then I could also just dress like that when I go to PAX. Like I'd be walking around the floor and people be like, "Why does that guy have a crop top on?" And I'd be like, "Well, it's the abs, obviously." Like, how is that even a question? If you had these, you would wear a crop top. Duh.
Dude, one time, Mojo sweatshirt. Then Sire asked me if I'd gotten it, if I like enjoyed it, and I never responded because I was like, I don't feel comfortable. This, dude, it was a straight up crop top, like right, like, oh, it was the worst. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Joe, if I had a functional body, I would 100% go on a Hawkeye ab arc. You know how sometimes like YouTubers just and they're like, "Look at my big old muscles." Yeah. I would make a parody of those YouTubers, but with like Hawkeye. Oh, it'd be so funny.
One thing.
It'd be so funny.
One thing I have thought about because I've got the foot pedals. I've already got USB cables running under the desk. I have thought about putting another webcam under the desk. And being like, okay, when we hit certain tipping goals, I'm just gonna go do 100 crunches, and people just see me on the floor doing crunches, and it's just like, I need some clever branding for, the pathway to crop top abs. That's not the branding, we'd workshop that, but yeah, there's something there, and I come back to this a lot. I feel like the idea has that, it has teeth. I just, it's like, is it the time,
True. It's true. Very true. I was going to tell you one more thing. I don't remember what that one more
Is it about was. Tumblr? Did you see we tied in the latest Tumblr poll? And so...
No, I've never been to Tumblr.
You should go sometime. I don't know if you've ever like gone searching for rocks and then you like clean them up and then you put them in a thing with a bunch of sand and its cylinder spins and polishes them.
Dude, when I was a kid, I went to the rock show and like bid on in the silent auction. I was the silent auction king.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, you would love Tumblr.
Dude, they had a killer Easter egg hunt. All the Easter eggs had cool like gems in it. Loved it. I went to it as long as my until I got uncomfortable with my age being in an Easter egg hunt. Yeah. I loved it for many, many years. There's a point when when you're doing Easter egg hunts, you start getting a little, it's like, yeah, maybe I'm here for the gems. That's what I'm here for.
See, like, I feel like, to some degree, I could see them saying like, well, you know, this is the sort of thing we run for children, but then we also run a parallel event for adults, right? Like if they had an event where they're like, okay, it has to be teams of 2, and one person is not allowed to walk and has to be in a wheelbarrow, and the other guy's blindfolded, and it's just me running around blindfolded with you in a wheelbarrow yelling at where the eggs are. Like, that would be amazing. I would do that.
Yeah.
I would try not to drop you out of the wheelbarrow real bad. I know that's not great.
No, I'm okay with that. We all get together,
Yeah.
all the hermits, and we go on wheelchair races. Maybe I bring a couple of my old rusty wheelchairs hanging around. We all go on wheelchair races. Why not? It's wheels, moves fast, fun.
Thanks,
Get
Les
some
Gold
use out
Music,
of
for
it.
tipping 3.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, yeah, nothing. Like, oh, man. But, like, I really, I miss doing, like, stuff like that as a kid. Like, it was very cool. And, like, that could be the next thing. Like, you know how they have all these, like, adult game experiences, like escape rooms, and they've got, like, the axe throwing cages and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm sure it can't be that much harder to set up an Easter egg hunt than to set up an escape room. In fact, arguably, setting up an escape room might be more challenging than setting up an Easter egg hunt. But, like,
True.
yeah.
Hey, at some point in this year, hermits, we're gonna do something all together. It's gonna be great. Don't know what it is yet, but we're gonna do something. It's gonna be fun. All get together.
Man, I would, yeah. Yeah, we gotta figure that out at some point.
I gotta say, Joe, what's nice about HermitCraft in the last while is I think as a group we're the closest we've ever been, which is really cool.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like, I gotta say, just getting to, like, this is gonna, I don't want to sound, like, weird about this. And
Get weird, Joe.
this
Couldn't
is
get any weirder than me bungling up Moby Dick's name. And
one
then
night a
realizing
week.
I gotta be
One night a
super
week,
careful.
Scar. This is the
I
only
gotta be
night
like
a week.
super careful.
This is the only night a week there's a VOD. And, like, so now we're saying things on the record,
Dude, sometimes when I say stuff, I'm trying to get really good at like identifying an alert, and then an alert went off in my head, and I'm like, bam, I caught it. Because sometimes I break up words, so if it's like, it's like kind of just play around with like names and words, and I just realized that one's not one to mess around with.
So no,
I think people should be happy for me to even be conscious of needing to be careful.
yeah, well, like, it's one of those things where I've fallen into that trap too. I'm gonna own it because there's already a record of it from last week. But we were talking about, like, there's like this trend where people retell stories from the point of view of the villain, but as the good guy, right? So there's like, with the Wizard of Oz, there's Wicked, and it's a retelling of the Wizard of Oz from the point of view of Elphaba, and she's the good guy. And then the story of Aladdin, there's Twisted, and I'm like, well, what would that be called for Moby Dick? Oh, I guess it would just be Dicked. You know what? That's not great.
Lord.
Nah, that's not great. Okay, yeah, moving on.
And the trophy goes to Joe.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're not gonna do that. But
You gotta be, yeah. It's just I don't know. I had like a funny play on words I was gonna, but then it was like, oh shoot, this is not a word to play around with.
no,
I'm
yeah,
gonna mess it up. But then I make it even awkwarder by being like,
But back to the hermits, though, and being close. I gotta say, one thing about HermitCraft is we all bring in the best talent that we can. Whenever we add people, it's usually somebody that somebody knows and can vouch for, right? But, like, when Cleo joined the server, Cleo was my friend. We had been friends for years, and we continue to be friends. But a lot of the other hermits were friends of my friends, if that makes any sense. Like, when they came in, I trusted the people who vouched for them. Like Mumbo's like, hey, I know this great guy Grian. You guys should check out his videos. I think he's worth, having on. And his videos were good. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. But, like, it wasn't until the charity event last year where I actually got to spend some real time with the guy that I actually felt like, okay, this isn't just somebody else's friend that I know. This is now my friend. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different thing to really get to spend time with people. Getting to spend time with Skiz. Versus just like, I had met him at Minecon Anaheim years ago. And, like, you know, I listened to his podcast. I had a pretty good idea who the guy is. He seemed like a great fit for HermitCraft. So, yeah, I'm happy to have him on. But, like, I didn't feel like he was my friend until we actually spent time together, you know? And that's just such a great thing. That was a great opportunity that you and Gamers Outreach created there, you know, for really upping that level of, like, personal connection between the people on the server.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. It's been really nice. Like in the last couple of years, like we've had the Gamers Outreach events, we've had the two Twitch cons where we've had a lot of people at. So that's been really cool. I can't wait to figure out something to do this year. It'll be very fun.
Yeah, I hope you do, man. Because, like, I know I keep saying Dollywood, you know, and I'm going to keep hitting that.
Dude, my mom and I were looking at how to get there. We're like,
It's
okay, we go here. Go
okay.
there,
It is a
there.
real pain to get to.
I know that's what
Like
she
that.
said. She's like, I'm really putting some thought into this. She's like,
Oh no, Scar. Did you know? Okay, so I took my spouse for our honeymoon. We went to Gatlinburg, and we were supposed to rent a car. So the plan was after the wedding, I would drop my new mother-in-law off at the airport, and I would rent a car so we could drive to Gatlinburg. And unfortunately, there was a problem, and I still don't know exactly what happened, but like the credit card company and the rental car company got in a fight, and we're like, we can't
ooh,
do this. And I'm like, I have enough money. And they're like, okay, you need to call your bank on Monday, and they'll resolve this. And I'm like, what? What is happening? And so I'm calling everybody I know who's in town. I'm like, hey, can I borrow your car? Because I'm supposed to leave on my honeymoon like right now, and I don't have the car. And there's literally no other way to get to Gatlinburg other than like a $400 lift, which we don't want to do. You know?
oh my, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
And so luckily, my mom, who was gonna watch my daughter for the week, was just like, well, I was really planning on having my car, but there is a grocery store within walking distance, and you know we can get everywhere else by bus. So I
Yeah,
guess you can take my car. But like that was not the plan. That was like panic response mode, you know, type of thing. So
yeah.
yeah, like I looked into every option while I was sitting there, like while the rental car guy is like calling his manager and his manager's calling somebody else, and I'm like, okay, well if this doesn't work out, is there a good way to get to Gatlinburg from the airport? There is not.
Dude, that Seinfeld episode still rings true all the way from the 90s. The rental car companies can take the reservation, they just can't hold the reservation.
Yeah, I don't think you understand what a reservation does.
It's funny how so much of that show like became really outdated with the invention of the cell phone, except that one episode. And once you go first class, you can't go back.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a first class flyer. Like every time
My brother like has access to that because he has like family in the airlines, so he gets like some preferable like
Oh.
flights and stuff. And he's like, once you've gone up front, you can't go back. And I'm like, stop quoting Seinfeld to me, you idiot.
Yeah.
I'm back here sitting on boxes. You know,
Oh yeah.
feels
No.
like Indiana Jones. We're just sitting on a box next to a chicken crate.
Oh man, I wish that I knew people who ran like a cargo plane company. I would literally rather sit on a chicken crate, or like even if I had to like lay down kind of awkwardly on top of a pallet of something, like I don't care. I don't get to travel enough because I just can't afford it. Like there's all these cool events and conventions and stuff, and everyone's like, "Why don't you come to this event?" And I'm like, "Dude, I would if I could." Like people are
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
"Come to PAX in Seattle," and I'm like, PAX doesn't pay their guests to come out. You know,
No.
like that they're not that caliber of convention. They're a step up. You pay them to be there in a lot of cases. Like if I would, you know, it's not like, oh hey, come give a panel and we'll give you a booth. It's hey, you can do a panel if you want. We'll give you a badge. But like if you want a booth, you got to pay like $800 to $1,200, and yeah, forget about like a per diem or a flight or anything. Like so
Yeah.
many people want to do PAX. They're not going to pay me to go. But yeah, like
Yeah,
normally when I go to
it's
PAX, I'm sleeping on somebody's hotel room floor. It's like, oh, this hotel room has 5 people in it, and I'm on the floor. I get the part of the floor by the window, which is nice. I can use it as a little
Yeah,
ledge to put my phone and my glasses on. Like,
it's tough with ones like that, in the bigger cities, because the cost of like the hotels being in the city, or you might get a deal, maybe like an airline ticket, because usually it's cheaper to fly into big cities, but then the hotels are way more expensive, transportation is way more expensive.
oh yeah, I had to stop going to
Yeah.
PAX East because Boston was just so pricey. I do PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia when I can because it's more cost effective. But once again, it's cost effective because I know a guy who is an enforcer for PAX, so he gets the enforcer rate on the hotel room, and then splits it several ways. You know, but like, I mean, I'm good at camping. I bring my backpacking air mattress and my backpacking sleeping bag, and they both fit in my day pack. It's fine, but like, it'd be nice to have a bed. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. It's I went to PAX to do the panel with Children's Seattle, Gamers Outreach, and Child's Play in 2023, I think. I just stayed one night, and that hotel was, I think that hotel was almost $400.
Yeah,
Just one night. It was
yeah.
like
One night at a hotel near PAX is way more than any other hotel ever. You know, and I understand it's like, well, these rooms are literally in that high of demand where we were not the only room full of people that's like 4 people, 5 people. Huge numbers
yeah,
of
yeah.
people. You know.
It's events are fun. It's I think it's like I was gonna say it's a double-edged sword. That's the wrong meaning. I'm very, very tired.
Oh, it's fine.
It's great. It's like I'm trying to think of like two good things to make. Oh God.
Well, no, but
Fuck.
it's one
I'm
of those
trying to
things
say
where
it's good to beat the fans. It's good to beat us. It's like it's two great things coming together. I'm bungling up.
no,
words so
I know
bad.
what you mean.
But
It's the problem is that the biggest conventions draw so many people that they can't be affordable anymore. And so, like, yeah, if I go to the biggest conventions, I can meet the most fans, but I also can't afford it. I can go to Tennessee Game Days, which is like, this little 500, 600 person board gaming and card gaming event in March. And I can drive there and, it's fine. I'm not out. It was $100 for the family pass, which covers, me, my spouse, my sister, and my kid. And I don't even need a hotel room because it's close enough to Nashville, right? But I can go there and meet, maybe a dozen fans. Now, if I went to PAX, there'd be hundreds of people. But, like, there's a huge difference between me spending $100 and me trying to figure out, like, how do I get over 1,000 or even more? Or, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just easier to do these small events. And I feel bad for people that aren't regionally near me, but, like, that's just where I'm at in my career. I don't have the extra money to, travel like that.
yeah, it's But yeah, hopefully we do something fun this year. We can figure out. Don't know what, but
I
think it
will
would
be
fun to have another
very
event.
keen to sign on for whatever you figure out. Like, I am, yeah. Because the only thing I can suggest is Dollywood, and I keep suggesting it because it's cheap for me, but I know it's super inconvenient for everybody else.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh
So
well.
what I see some stuff happen in the interior here, Joe. This is looking good. Some
Yeah,
plans, some stuff coming together.
yeah. This is actually starting to come together. I'm hoping to actually do the grand opening of this in like 2 weeks.
Nice.
So yeah, I need to between now and the next HermitCraft meeting, I need to like have a proper map of all the plots on the outside. I need to get the floors and some of the interiors in here so that people can start claiming museum space on the inside as well. But the idea is to just like have a bunch of opportunities for people to latch onto if they just need something to get them creatively sparked. I don't know if
Yeah.
you were at
Yeah,
the
it looks good.
last meeting. I mentioned like, hey, start brainstorming ideas for hobbies that you'd like to make a parade float about. Because that's something I think I could do in maybe mid-March or so.
Yeah. And if you need help, like if we do have a meeting, just get people on here, do something while we're doing nothing in a meeting.
Yeah, a lot of the tasks on this actually require like complex geometry. It's not just like, hey, go dig up that sand. It's like I'm correcting and fixing the math on the geometry as I go on this project, so I don't really have the ability to, you know, fire and forget, tell people place 1,000,000 blocks, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. When I was doing the circle in season 5, yeah, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. It was just like counting out.
Yeah.
It was just so
No,
freaking painful.
it's a
I
lot of
hated it.
counting. Yeah, it's that sort of thing. I was like with this walkway here, I'm thinking I'm gonna flank it with stair blocks, so it feels like it's got. I didn't want to do a proper railing because it's diagonal, but I was like, if I put
Yeah, and who
stairs,
needs railings? You know,
if I give it
live a
lips,
little.
you know, people love mouths. That'd be good. I
Yeah,
don't know.
and you know what? We're too comfortable. We need less safety. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Just being silly. But yeah, this looks good. I
yeah.
like it.
I'm
This
trying to
looks fun.
I'm trying to figure out right now, like on the original build, like the real world building. These 5 stories, everything outside of the center atrium here would be like laboratories in the original, and then it was turned into like offices and
Did they
shops and
make
stuff.
phones here? What? Like you said, it
It
was a
was
laboratory,
Bell
right?
Laboratories, yeah. So Bell Telephone,
Dude, we used to have an old Bell phone when I was a kid. We used to. It was like a cranker. You know, you went like rawr rawr.
yeah, dial phone.
Dial. There you go. It was yeah. We used to have one of those. It was in my mom. It was like, you know how like old technology sometimes like moves through the house. You know,
Yeah,
like maybe you have like an old thing and that ends up down in some off the beaten path in your house or the kids' room or whatever.
yeah.
My parents had the old rotor phone in their room. Oh God.
Oh, I
Oh
had a
man.
rotary phone on my desk for a long time. My dad
It's
and I
fun.
rewired it to plug into a modern RJ11 jack, and
Oh nice.
so yeah, I couldn't do touch tone. Like, you know, you call the power company and they're like, you know, to speak customer service, press 3. I couldn't, you know, do that on there, but like I could dial out and I could pick it up and hear people who called me. Yeah, I used to use it as a prop on the stream. It's in a box somewhere since I moved. Hey, real quick, I got a tip rolling in for 10 from Emma Lappin. Thank you, Emma Lappin, who says, I'm still awake at 4:30 a.m. for some reason, so I can contribute to the Joe deserves to be a little less stressed at the next HermitCraft meetup fund. Ah, thank you, Emma Lappin. That puts us now 7 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Sorry about this, Scar. But yeah, no, like, so this place is like where they did a bunch of work on like transistors and different types of radio waves and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. I was trying to think. There was a. Oh, I remember at our aunt's house. She had a red rotary phone,
Uh-huh.
and we definitely played like, you know, like the president pulling out the red phone
Oh,
because it
yeah.
was like straight up like a stereotypical red. You know, there never really was a red phone ever.
No, no, no,
Like,
no, but it's like
but she
Commissioner
had a red
Gordon.
phone just like that.
It's like
Yeah, she
Commissioner
had it.
Gordon had the red phone for answering when Batman dials. Although
Yeah,
Bruce Wayne, his phone was like the bust. It was like a sculpture of somebody's, you know, chest and head. And he flipped the head
that's
back
true.
and had the rotary in there.
That's true. Now, who donated? Let's give him a big thank you.
Oh, hey, Kevin Zuckley tips 20 and says, question for both of
Kevin.
you. How long have you taken to get efficiency 5 in a villager trading hall or a villager breeder? I got a couple, but the prices were outrageous. I've never bothered with a villager trading hall or breeder. I just
I have.
yeah, I just like make 1,000,000 villagers like at free range and click on them randomly and hope that one of them has the trade I want. And then when that doesn't work, I go to another hermit's place. I don't bother re-rolling their trades or anything. But thank you for the 20. Let's expand Joe. Do. Here we go. Expand Joe. Bwomp. So Scar, yeah, so you have done villager halls?
Oh, Joe. I have lost a lot of sleep. Lost a lot of good villagers to zombies.
Oh wow. Oh, I remember that one time you had
it's
the
quite the
zombie
ordeal.
problem and you were in like a death loop and Cub and I had to save you or something? Yeah, that
Yes.
was a while
Well,
ago.
yeah. The one zombie infected my whole herd. It was horrible. like I had them all like I had them all in this room, right? I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out what was the best method of like putting them in mine carts and then getting them where I needed. So I had them all kind of like in a spot ready to go. And yeah, they turned while I was AFK or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just went into a straight up death loop. It was brutal.
Ugh. Oh boy. Yeah, I villagers just always felt like a hassle I didn't really want to deal with. You know, like whatever the game mechanics were for making them work was not a fun part of a game for me. The thing about a game like Minecraft where there's like a million things you can do is I just only do the ones I want. You know? It's it's like people are like, "But you have to do the miserable parts." I'm like, "Do I?" I feel like I don't. I can just get efficiency 4 books. I get most of my efficiency 5 books by getting efficiency 4 in the what do you call that thing with the lapis and the obsidian book thing and the enchanting table. Yeah. I don't know. It works.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, thank you for the. Oh, we got a new tip coming
yeah,
in.
another tip just rolled in. Real quick, I got 3 on the board here. Thank you very much. That puts us now only 4 away from the next face camera expansion milestone to NK, who says, I just opened my 2 small TCG card boxes. One of my highlights was Hollow Beetlejuice. Here's 1 American cent per health point that Grim Spectre of Death possesses. NK nailing it with the tip description. Thank you, NK.
Thank you for
Tips.
the tip. Thank you, and add a Q&A to the tip for questions.
Dang it, I'm trying to post the tipping link. 1 second. It's like not sending. Yeah, I think sometimes the foot pedal gets stuck under the carpet. Like there's a little rug, and I think sometimes the control button gets stuck, and then when I press things, like it triggers weird other stuff. Okay. So Scar, I was about to read about the Pacific. Do you want to hear me? Have you actually ever like listened to me read Moby Dick? I've never had a hermit, I don't think, just stand here while I read a novel.
Dude, let's go. Let's get dude, I'm terrified of saying that name. Can I just say the whale guy?
Okay,
I'm so tired. I'm going to bungle it up.
Scar,
it's going to be Dyslexic
Scar.
City.
So
Yeah.
the full name of the novel is Moby Dick or the Whale by Herman Melville. So if you just read
Okay.
everything after or, you could just call
Yeah.
the book The Whale by Herman Melville.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so paranoid these days. I'm going to say something weird or wrong that I'm like
Yeah, no, I get it. Real quick, also, Only E, thank you for tipping 10, who says, my sister just got her Creo cards in, but I need to wait for her to get home to open them. Well, thank you very much. That gets us $6 past our next face camera expansion milestone. So here we go. Do. Expand Joe. La da da da. And also thank you to 87 Goats for the 5 who says, howdy Joe and Scar, how are you today? I'm very well. So that gets us 9 away from the next expansion milestone. So Scar, I think that my voice is dropping out when I alt tab. I'm going to switch to off push to talk. 1 second.
Okay.
Adjust volumes. Settings. Okay, so I'm on voice activation now. Is that coming in clear or is it cutting in and out?
Gotcha. Loud
Okay.
and clear.
Great. So we just got another tip for 10 from Lady DW, who says, I don't have a witty quote or a Q&A, but I love listening to you read books to us. Thanks for providing a distraction. That's always welcome. Do what I can. That gets us 1 past our next face camera expansion milestone. So here we go. It's time to expand, Joe. Do. What? There's a camp chair in the frame. Sorry, Scar. There was a camp chair in the frame.
Is that Badger in the background?
That was Badger giggling.
Hi, Badger.
Badger doesn't have headphones on. Or a live mic.
Tell Badger hi for me.
Okay, well, no, I'm not going to do that, Scar, because there is a second set of headphones that Badger was reaching for. And I'm turning on Badger's mic as well. So,
Hi.
1 second.
There we go.
Okay, you have headphones now?
I do have headphones.
So-
Let me just move the mic.
Yeah, I'll turn your mic down while you move the mic, because, yeah. This is... Our entire house is insane right now. I mean apartment,
I mean,
colloquially.
it's a house, so-
But, yeah, our kid had a birthday party today with, like, 5 or 6 other children. So it was bonkers here all day.
Plus, I can't hear.
You can't hear. Okay, I'm going to turn up your cans.
Yay.
Okay, so you should have cans and an active mic.
Yay! Woo!
Okay, Scar, can you hear Badger now?
Yes. Hello, Badger.
Hi. How you doing?
All right, we're ready for a chapter here.
Okay, so yeah, let me pull up chapter 111 of Moby Dick or the Whale
And then you can mute me.
by Herman
Okay.
Melville. And then I'll mute Badger again because Badger's closer to where the air intake is for the air conditioner. And we didn't turn it off. Although it's actually on like heating mode, but whatever. Boy, where is the Moby Dick thing? Okay, you know what? I'm just going to click the pinned link at the top of the chat. That's what I tell everybody else to do. Hey, that got me there. Okay. Or did it? Okay, so we need chapter 111 of Moby Dick or the Whale by Herman Melville. The Pacific. When gliding by the Banshee Isles, we emerged at last upon the great South Sea. Were it not for other things, I could have greeted my dear Pacific with uncounted thanks. For now the long supplication of my youth was answered. That serene ocean rolled eastwards from me 1,000 leagues of blue. There is, one knows not, what sweet mystery about the sea, whose gently awful stirrings seem to speak of some hidden soul beneath, like those fabled undulations of the Ephesian sod over the varied evangelist St. John. And meet it is, that over these sea pastures, wide rolling watery prairies, and potters' fields of all 4 continents, the waves should rise and fall, and ebb and flow unceasingly. For here millions of mixed shades and shadows, drowned dreams, somnambulisms, reveries, all that we call lives and souls, lie dreaming still, tossing like slumberers in their beds, the ever-rolling waves, but made so by their restlessness. To any meditative Magian rover, this serene Pacific, once beheld, must ever after be the sea of his adoption. It rolls the midmost waters of the world, the Indian Ocean and Atlantic being but its arms. The same waves wash the moles of the new-built Californian towns, but yesterday planted by the recentest race of men, and lava the fade but gorgeous skirts of Asiatic isles, older than Abraham, while all between float milky ways of coral isles, and low-lying, endless, unknown archipelagos, and unpenetrable Japans. Thus, this mysterious divine Pacific zones the world's whole bulk about, makes all's coasts one bay to it, seems the tide beating heart of the earth. Lifted by those eternal swells, you needs must own the seductive god, bowing your head to Pan. But few thoughts of Pan stirred Ahab's brain, as standing like an iron statue at his accustomed place beside the mizzen rigging, with one nostril he unthinkingly snuffed the sugary musk from the Bashy Isles, in whose sweet woods mild lovers must be walking, and with the other consciously inhaled the salt breath of the new-found sea, that sea in which the hated white whale must even then be swimming. launched at length upon these almost final waters and gliding toward the Japanese cruising ground, the old man's purpose intensified itself. His firm lips met like the lips of a vice. The delta of his forehead's veins swelled like overladen brooks. In his very sleep, his ringing cry ran through the vaulted hull. "Sternal! The white whale spouts thick blood!" And that concludes chapter 111 of Moby Dick, or The Whale, by Herman Melville. Looks at Scar expectantly. Woo!
Yay!
Yeah, this is a weird book, Scar. This is a really weird book.
You know, it's one of like the bigger books that you read in school that you know, it seems to be a lot. Oh, man, it's been a long week. I'm so tired. It is a book that a lot of people in school read, but is one that I did not.
Well, I mean,
but I did read the Wishbone version of it.
Okay, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about Moby Dick is, like, this book, like, what makes this book special is all the stuff they cut out of the abridged versions, right? So, like, there's a whole chapter where Ahab, like, messed up his whalebone peg leg, and so he's talking to the ship's carpenter while the ship's carpenter is making him a new leg. And he's just like, you know, I wish Prometheus himself were here to forge me a new leg. That new leg would never splinter. And the carpenter's like, yeah, whatever you say, boss. You know, like, Scar, I don't think you necessarily ever worked, like, in the corporate world. But, like, the captain of the ship coming to hang out with the carpenter is like the CEO coming to, like, check on something that somebody's doing while they're doing it. Where he's like, just pretend I'm not here. But also, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and I'm going to philosophize while I'm doing it, right? You know, and so the carpenter's just trying to make a new leg for the captain. And the captain is, like, in his space, asking him a bunch of questions, and then talking about, like, you know, if Prometheus was here, the mythological Prometheus, he could make me a new leg, you know, and it'd be way better than this, you know. But also, if Prometheus was here, I wouldn't stop at that. Why would I ask Prometheus for just a leg when I could ask him for a 50-foot tall Iron Man? And he goes on to basically describe a Gundam. And he doesn't straight up say this, but Melville basically describes the concept of, like, kaiju fights in giant robots. Like, Captain Ahab is obsessed with hunting this whale. And the best way he could think of to fight the whale would be in a giant robot suit made by the mythological Prometheus, because the technology didn't exist to imagine building it as a human at the time, you know? But, like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't think there's a previous extant work that talks about somebody building a giant robot suit to fight a colossal sea monster. I think this might be the first one. But, like, it's all the... And, like, the carpenter, at that point, when he describes this giant robot, and the carpenter's like, pardon me, sir? And the captain's like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, this is all I can worry about right now. Wait, what? What? Did Herman Melville invent the genre of giant robots fighting, like, sea monsters? And it's, like, a few paragraphs that get cut out in every other version of this than the unabridged one. Like, this whole book is just full of bizarre stuff that's way ahead of its time. But, like, it's just like, but ignore that part. Like, what? It's weird.
Yeah. I should read it. I should. I have a lot of books I need to read. I have a long list.
Oh, that's totally fair. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, we're all busy.
I enjoyed the book there. I enjoyed the book.
Yeah, I probably should try and do some actual work on the build while
Yeah,
I read
you got to get to work.
But
You
yes,
got to get to work.
Scar, I always appreciate having you stop by. This has been a real treat.
And I got to listen to Moby Dick live, so that's good. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
I do apologize. This was not a chapter that's just like, and here's a bizarre example of like, I wonder if Herman Melville was a time traveler, because like what he's describing here is basically a forum post about Spider-Man, and I'm kind of weirded out by it.
That's true.
But yeah, anyway, catch you later, Scar. Have a great night.
All right, Joe. Goodbye. Goodbye, Badger. Goodbye, Joe Chan.
Woo. We're gonna turn off voice activation. Hey, Kevin Zuckley tips another 20. Thank you very much. That gets us one pass for our next face camera expansion milestone. Kevin Zuckley says, got a 26 emerald trade for efficiency 5 and took hundreds of rerolls. Wow. So many hours. I wanted less than 20, but at this point I'll take it. Yeah. As long as you're still having fun, but like once you're at that point where you're not, yeah, just cut your losses. Anyway, y'all have seen these face camera expansion milestones go straight to my head, but now like Jacob Marley, these chains I forged in life are here to remind me that humanity was my business. They're about to begin pulling me down to the deep below. Enter the Jost. Ba, 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 ba. Lowering the Joe opacity now to 90%. At this point, each additional face camera expansion milestone will be accompanied by a corresponding drop in Joe opacity. La da da da. So, let's keep those coming. We are 19 away from that next face camera expansion milestone. And Deflanco tips 30, who says, thank you for the whale chapter while fishing on MCC Island. It was perfect. Appreciate it. That gets us now 11 past the next face camera expansion milestone. So here we go. It's time to expand Jost. Da 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 da. We are going to lower the Joe opacity now to 80%. So thank you very much. Jason So says Moby Dick invented the mech genre. That's why it's referenced in Xenoblade 10. Varum says, wouldn't a pre-existing giant robot be Talos? I guess it's not Gundam style. Well, the other element though is it's a kaiju fighting robot, because basically in the context of this story, it's been established that Moby Dick is basically a kaiju. Yeah. So, alrighty. Basald says in Minecraft they just die in the end void. Do they go to a backup copy of their world where they lose 5 hours of work but keep their original items, or do they accept it? I always accept it. I really go out of my way to avoid having good enough items that I would be mad if I died, which is one of the reasons I'm wearing diamond instead of netherite. But yeah, I'm always one of those, like, the way I want to play the game is, follow the heart of the cards. But, it's up to you. It's your world. NK Art says the real explanation is Herman Melville and Guillermo del Toro are the same person. Maybe. Amber the Elm Witch says, can I say the Joe expansion thing is the best thing in the world of streaming? I try. Open Bag 2 says, I just went down a rabbit hole and Tumblr made an excellent and convincing argument that Moby Dick is 100% a kaiju. Yeah. Okay. So I was going to work on the build, but now it's snowing and I'm annoyed about the snow. But it's not late enough on the server, I guess, to actually go to sleep. So where's the least inconvenient place for it to snow? Is it better if it finishes snowing over here? Yeah. No, I don't want it to snow in the parking lot because I don't want to snowplow it. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Don't worry, Badger. Your mic is off.
I know. Still made a noise.
It did still make a noise, but no, it's off. Okay. Well, so we can't go back down until it's night, Because I don't want it to snow on the parking lot over there, because I don't feel like snow plowing it. I'm pretty wiped out. We have gotten through one chapter of Moby Dick. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I kind of need to take a hydration break, but I can't play any music. So, y'all just be good. I'm going to mute my mic, and I will be right back. Okay, welcome back. Sorry for not having music. But yeah, it's Saturday night. Hey, 87 Goats just tipped 50 and says, I named my chameleon Joe Hills BT Dubs. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. 9 gets you one face camera expansion milestone. 29 gets another 49, a third. And then we are $1 away from the next expansion after that one. So please direct your attention to the left side of the screen because we're about to expand. Just la da da da. Lowering the Joe pasty now to 70%. And then numero dos, even larger jost. La da da da. And we are at T. Joe Eckhillsburg stage, so we can take down the sitting up now sign. And we're going to drop that Joe opacity to 60%. Do. And then, thanks again to 87 Goats for the third face camera expansion. Numero tres, even larger face. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's the large face alarm. It's going off right now. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I've never made this noise on stream before, anyhow. Lowering the Joe opacity now to 50%. So thank you very much to 87 Goats. That puts us $19 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. 87 Goats tips another $1. So yeah, because we were 1 past that last expansion milestone, and so now we are 2 past, and Kevin Zuckley tips another $1. Now we're 3 past. I'm really wondering if did I say that wrong? Why are we getting multiple $1? Oh, because, yeah, 49 got us to the face camera expansion milestone, so 50 got us 1 pass. Did I accidentally say we were 1 short? I am so sorry. I'm super brain dead. I've spent literally the entire day working on a child's birthday party, which went well. But no, I'm sorry. I meant to say, yeah, because I said 49 got us to the third, and then $1 passed. I thought about on 50. I'm so sorry. But 87 Goats, thank you so much, and congrats on getting your commission money in. Thank you for sharing some of that to support my work in particular. So, Kevin Zuckley says they beat me to it. No, neither of them beat you to it. We were 1 past, not 1 away from the next one. We got all 3, and then we were 1 past, 19 away from a 4th one. Now we're 17 away from a 4th one. Yeah, y'all are good. No, okay. So we're gonna learn about the blacksmith in our next chapter of Moby Dick or the Whale by Herman Melville. So let's head on back down. Let's grab some food. Boy, I really intended to get some work done on this build this stream. I am really glad Scar stopped by, though. That was a nice treat. Like, honestly, after spending the whole day surrounded by children, it's nice to talk to an adult. Like, Badger, and you might say, but Joe, wasn't Badger there? Yeah, Badger, we were both there, but, like, we were barely talking. We were just doing. We're just reacting. We're just making the party happen. And, I mean, we did talk to the other parents when they dropped the kids off and picked them up, but, like, it was a day. So, yeah. Let's, Scar counts as an adult? Yes, Scar counts as an adult. Okay, so we're going to put a replay mod marker in here because we're about to start removing these blocks. And then let's go ahead and find the next chapter. What we're reading, chapter 112. I'm going to pin this new link in both chats there. We've had our little hydration break, and we're ready to go. Okay. Pin message, replacing the pin message, pin message. Kevin Zuckley, rolling in and tipping another 17, says, I can't believe Scar's trees. Does he have new ones? Because, like, I will say the ones he did earlier this season definitely took my breath away. But if he has new ones, I should probably go check them out at some point. But thank you very much for that additional 17. That gets us evenly to the next face camera expansion milestone. So here we go. Expand Jost. Do. Jason So 1704 says, I really wanted to work today, but I'm glad I got distracted. Is HermitCraft in a nutshell? Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay. I don't want to sound pretentious. But like I was in the aftermath of the children's birthday party today, I was thinking about the collection of essays on writing by Haruki Murakami. And one of the things that he describes about his writing process. So Haruki Murakami, Murakami is a novelist. He's Japanese, but his work is well regarded all over the world. But he talks about how part of his process is on days when he feels creative, he sits down at the computer or back when he first started the typewriter. And on creative days, he just works on a new story or works on whatever novel he's writing. He just sits down and he works on that. And on days when he's not feeling creative, he sits down at the same typewriter or computer or whatever, and he does work as a translator of other people's stories. He would translate English language stories into Japanese. And so he's just like, I think it's important to every day show up for work. And on creative days, you do your one type of work. And on non-creative days, you do other work. But you're always getting stuff done. And I feel like I kind of stumbled onto doing something similar here on HermitCraft, where I'm like, I need to have a project where I have stuff that I can do on days where I'm feeling super creative and ready to go engage with the other hermits and do fun stuff as a group. But then I also, on days where I'm like, guys, I am wiped out. Let's just destroy this mountain. I'm still showing up for the streams with you guys, and we're still getting HermitCraft done. We're just, it's just not the same caliber, you know what I mean? But it's still contributing. Like, Murakami translating other people's stories was still legitimately work that he was getting paid for, and it was also still work that was helping him become a better writer. Even on the days where I come in here and I'm just like doing a bunch of grindy stuff around the build, I'm thinking about my approach, I'm thinking about stuff. I'm getting better as a presenter just by practicing presenting the show, And so, yeah, that was something that jumped out at me. So, yeah. I forget exactly how this ties into Scar stopping by, but, let's assume that had something to do with that. Okay. My point is, I'm really tired. Oh, I remember what it is now. So I'm so tired after spending the whole day throwing a children's birthday party that, I assumed that this would be one kind of stream where I just come in and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to read this book and I'm going to do this work. But then Scar showing up actually kind of shifted the gears. So it was like a better, more creative, more interactive experience. And that's, I think, one of the things that's great about HermitCraft is, unlike novel writing, Murakami is working kind of of isolation, in a vacuum, right? There's other novelists out there, but they're not bothering each other. They're not stopping in and seeing how it's going. But we're, unlike novelists, all in this shared creative space where we can just swing by and say, hey, and that's so cool. It is just so cool to be on HermitCraft. So, yeah, I don't know. Sorry, this is just something I was thinking about earlier. So, has there ever been a productive HermitCraft stream? Arguably, all HermitCraft streams are productive, just in different ways. That's the answer to your question. An evil tomato. Okay. So, seriously, though, if you are a creative person, even if you're not a novelist, I recommend you check out Murakami's collection of essays. I think it's called Novelist as Vocation. Is that... I'm blanking on the exact name of it. Yeah, Novelist as a Vocation is a collection of essays about what life... his process as a novelist. And what it means to be a novelist as a vocation, which is why he chose that title. He's good at words, it turns out. Yeah, I liked QT84. I disagree with the pronunciation of it as 1Q84. I think it should be pronounced as QT84, and it is a very cool novel. Very long, but weird and good in interesting ways. But I avoid talking about it with people because we end up always just arguing about the pronunciation of the name. And I'm like, look, Murakami might translate Japanese to English and back, but I'm a humorist, and QT84 is funnier. QT84 is the better title. But it's not as Googleable. They're like, oh no, we have to pronounce it out loud as 1Q84 because then people can't find it in the shops. Just look under Murakami in fiction. It's fine. Okay. Wow. I'm really tired. I can tell by like how my body physically responds to conversation stuff like that. Like I'm like legitimately getting riled up like about QT84's title, which is unprovoked and is fine, and I need to calm down. So we're gonna go get a shovel and we're gonna read chapter 112, The Blacksmith. Because we've already pinned that. Just as a reminder, once I actually start reading the chapter, I don't usually acknowledge tips in the middle. So if you'd like to tip between chapters, now is a good time. Otherwise, if you tip and it doesn't come through until later, that's fine. I'll just read it later. It'll get read eventually. Yeah, no, Borealis Laura says, I literally only just realized the Q is meant to be the Japanese Q, as in 9. Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke in Japanese, but they didn't want to translate the joke. It's better to keep the joke. Yeah. Yeah, it's the Japanese. That's why yeah, it's funniest. The funniest way to pronounce it is QT84. Because now in Japanese, you would not, they don't have like the, okay. So in some languages, the 10 is added after. Like in English, you'd say 14, 15, 16, 17. But in some languages, you would say 10 and 6, 10 and 7, 10 and 8, right? And so so in Japanese, you would read the letters sequentially, or the numbers sequentially. You wouldn't have like 15, you'd have 10 and 5. But Basil D says, what makes you enjoy reading your chat? I like people. Like, I don't know how to explain to somebody who doesn't enjoy talking to people that talking to people is intrinsically rewarding. Why wouldn't you enjoy reading your chat? Oh, wait, no, sorry. The question is, what makes you enjoy reading to your chat? Oh, like reading books out loud. I like reading things out loud. I like reading things out loud even if nobody else is around. I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain, like some stuff just makes sense to me. Like, it's like somebody who has perfect pitch can't explain how they know what the notes are. Like, some things just make sense. I like reading out loud. I like talking to people. Like, but like, it's on such a low level that there's not justification. There's just being. No, it didn't come off the wrong way. I've just had such a long day. You know, once again, children's party, a lot of energy. We did so much cleaning yesterday, and we did another cleaning pass today, and then we did all the decorations, and it's a lot. I was up and down ladders, hanging streamers. I'm a professional streamer, but I'm a terrible streamerer. So yeah, I kept like, man, we ripped down so many streamers that I had to redo. Like, no, it wasn't your bad. It was my bad. I'm exhausted and I'm on here reading things poorly. So let's read something good. Chapter 112, The Blacksmith. So, availing himself of the mild summer cool weather that now reigned in these latitudes, and in preparation for the peculiarly active pursuits shortly to be anticipated, Perth, the begrimed, blistered old blacksmith, had not removed his portable forge to the hold again, after concluding his contributory work for Ahab's leg, but still retained it on deck. Fast lashed to the ring bolts by the foremast, being now almost incessantly invoked by the headsmen and harpooneers, and bowsmen, now almost incessantly invoked. Wait, whoops. Boy, I'm tired. I'm started reading the same line again. By the headsmen, harpooneers, and bowsmen to do some little job for them, altering or repairing or new shaping their various weapons and boat furniture. Often he would be surrounded by an eager circle, all waiting to be served, holding boat spades, pike heads, harpoons, and lances, and jealously watching his every sooty movement as he toiled. Nevertheless, this old man's was a patient hammer wielded by a patient arm. Okay, we're going to actually have some trouble here. I thought that I was going to be able to remove this coal while I was reading, and I'm suddenly realizing that might be harder than I thought. Because if I click for too long, I'm going to remove either the ice or... Yeah, I thought that this was a reading task, and I'm suddenly having second thoughts. Removing the coal from the outside. Oh, you know what? No, because if we remove it from the outside, then we're going to get the basalt. Oh, boy. Let's try it. I think the basalt breaks slower than the sandstone. So if we go in this way, this might be better. Okay. So let's go ahead. Let's get back to it. Okay. Nevertheless, this old man's was a patient hammer wielded by a patient arm. No murmur, no impatience, no petulance did come from him. Silent, slow, and solemn, bowing over still further his chronically broken back, he toiled away as if toil were life itself. And the heavy beatings of his hammer, the heavy beating of his heart, and so it was most miserable. A peculiar walk in this old man, a certain slight but painfully appearing yawing in his gait, had at an earlier period of the voyage excited the curiosity of the mariners, and to the importunity of their persistent questionings, he had finally given in. And so it came to pass that everyone now knew the shameful story of his wretched fate. Belated, and not innocently, one bitter winter's midnight, on the road running between two country towns, the blacksmith half stupidly felt the deadly numbness stealing over him, and sought refuge in a dilapidated barn. The issue was the loss of the extremities of both feet. Out of this revelation, part by part, at last came out the 4 acts of the gladness, and the one long, and as yet uncatastrophed 5th act of the grief of his life's drama. He was an old man who, at the age of nearly 60, had postponedly encountered that thing in sorrow's technicals called ruin. He had been an artisan of famed excellence, and with plenty to do. He owned a house and garden, embraced a youthful, daughter-like loving wife, and 3 blithe, ruddy children. Every Sunday went to a cheerful-looking church, planted in a grove. But one night, under cover of darkness, and further concealed in a most cunning disguisement, a desperate burglar slid into his happy home and robbed them all of everything. And darker yet to tell, the blacksmith did ignorantly conduct this burglar into his family's heart. It was the bottle conjurer. Upon the opening of that fateful cork, forth flew the fiend, and shriveled up his home. Now, for prudent, most wise and economic reasons, The blacksmith's shop was in the basement of his dwelling, but with a separate entrance to it, so that always had the young and loving healthy wife listen to with no unhappy nervousness, but with vigorous pleasure, to the stout ringing of her young armed old husband's hammer, whose reverberations, muffled by passing through the floors and walls, came up to her not unsweetly in her nursery. And so, to stout labor's iron lullaby, the blacksmith's infants were rocked to slumber. Oh, woe on woe! O death, why canst thou not sometimes be timely? Hadst thou taken this old blacksmith to thyself ere his full ruin came upon him, then had the young widow a delicious grief, and her orphans a truly venerable, legendary sire to dream of in their after years, and all of them a care-killing competency. But death plucked down some virtuous elder brother, on whose whistling daily toil solely hung the responsibilities of some other family, and left the worse than useless old man standing, till the hideous rot of life should make him easier to harvest. Why tell the whole? The blows of basement hammer every day grew more and more between, and each blow every day grew fainter than the last. The wife sat frozen at the window, with tearless eyes, glitteringly gazing into the weeping faces of her children. The bellows fell, the forge choked up with cinders, the house was sold, the mother dived down into the long churchyard grass. The children twice followed her thither, and the houseless, familyless old man staggered off, a vagabond in crape, his every woe unreverenced, his gray head a scorn to flaxen curls. Death seems the only desirable sequel for a career like this, but death is only a launching into the region of the strange untried. It is but the first salutation to the possibilities of the immense remote, the wild, the watery, the unshored. Therefore, to the death-longing eyes of such men, who still have left in them some interior compunctions against suicide, does the all-contributed and all-receptive ocean alluringly spread forth his whole plain of unimaginable taking terrors and wonderful new life adventures. And from the hearts of infinite Pacifics, the thousand mermaids sing to them, "Come hither, broken-hearted. Here is another life, without the guilt of intermediate death. Here are wonders supernatural, without dying for them. Come hither, bury thyself in a life which, to your now equally abhorred and abhorring landed world, is more obvious than death. Come hither, put up thy gravestone, too, within the churchyard, and come hither, till we marry thee." Hearkening to these voices, east and west, by early sunrise, by fall of eve, the blacksmith's soul responded, I come. And so, Perth went a-wailing. And that concludes chapter 112 of Moby Dick, or the Whale, by Herman Melville. Welcome, K-Dog 1100. Thank you for the raid. Anybody have any thoughts on that chapter? Nemeril writes, this chapter is hot gossip about the blacksmith. Yeah, I was going to say, in some ways, this chapter is almost written like a Dare officer story about, like, oh, yeah, he was successful. He was an athlete. He was doing great. But then he started shooting cocaine. It's like, wait, really? That's what he did? Are you sure you're not confusing parts of this story? I mean, I was in 4th grade when I was hearing these stories from the drug enforcement officer or whatever, so maybe I'm misremembering. But, like, I was just like, wait, what? DeFlanco, that's my point. So, okay, yeah. So, let's see. We are at 10:15. This next chapter is also about the blacksmith. I was planning on doing these 3 chapters in a cluster because they're all linked. The Pacific, the blacksmith, and the forge. So I think that we're going to go ahead, even though we're going to run a little late and I've had a long day. Y'all have been really cool to hang out with tonight. This has been a great way to wrap up my evening. So I'm going to go ahead and give y'all one more chapter. I really do appreciate y'all. This was a fantastic day. Spent well with family. My daughter had a great birthday. I'm really happy with how everything turned out. And, yeah, let's wind down together with chapter 113 of Moby Dick. I need to repin this with the updated link. Unpin after, manually unpinned at end of stream. And we're going to pin that in YouTube as well. Nimril says, I'm imagining the crew just chatting about this whole story while they're waiting in a circle for their projects to be finished right there on deck or on the forge. Yeah. Stu, my guy, says, this chapter felt like eavesdropping as people talk about prayer requests on the porch. Oh, yeah, everybody really needs to pray for the old blacksmith Perth. You won't believe how much his drinking screwed up. Yep. Okay. So. I don't have a good voice. I'm reading ahead a little bit just to see if there's a voice for Perth, if he describes Perth's voice, and he doesn't. So this is a conversation. Chapter 113 is going to be a conversation between Ahab and Perth. Let's go ahead and mention, once again, we are 20 even away from the next phase camera expansion milestone. Okay. So here we go. Chapter 113, The Forge. With matted beard and swathed in a bristling sharkskin apron, about midday, Perth was standing between his forge and anvil, the latter placed upon an iron wood log, with one hand holding a pike's head in the coals and the other at his forge's lungs, when Captain Ahab came along, carrying in his hand a small, rusty-looking leathern bag. While yet a little distant from the forge, moody Ahab paused, till at last Perth, withdrawing his iron from the fire, began hammering it upon the anvil, the red mass sending off the sparks in thick hovering flights, some of which flew close to Ahab. Are these thy mother Carrie's chickens, Perth? They're always flying in thy wake. Birds of good omen, too, but not to all. Look here, they burn. But thou livest amongst them without a scorch. I don't have this voice ready. I think I might try the Scottish accent. Ugh, okay, I don't know if I can do that without warming up, but we'll try it. Because I am scorched all over, Captain Ahab, answered Perth, resting for a moment on his hammer. I am past scorching. Not easily canst thou scorch a scar. Not easily canst thou scorch a scar should be Scar's, like, tagline on his bio for Blue Sky or whatever. Not easily canst thou scorch a scar. He's a hot guy. He can't be easily scorched. Just, sorry. Sorry, I'm, like, getting excited here. But we also... Yeah. Wail, wail, no more. Thy shrunk voice sounds too calmly, sanely woeful. To me, in no paradise myself, I am impatient of all misery in others that is not mad. Why shouldst, or thou shouldst go mad, blacksmith? Say, why dost thou not go mad? How canst thou endure without being mad? Do the heavens yet hate thee, that thou canst not go mad? Oh, what wert thou making there? Welding an old pikehead, sir. There were sames and dents in it. And canst thou make it all smooth again, blacksmith, after such hard usage as it had? I think so, sir. And I suppose thou canst soothe almost any seams and dents. Never mind how hard the metal, blacksmith? Aye, sir, I think I can. All seams and dents but one. Looky here, then, cried Ahab, passionately advancing, and leaning with both hands on Perth's shoulders. Looky here. Can you smooth out a seam like this, blacksmith? Sweeping one hand across his ribbed brow. If thou couldst, blacksmith, glad enough would I lay my head upon the anvil and feel thy heaviest hammer between my eyes. Answer, canst thou soothe this seam? Oh, that is the one, sir. Said I not all seams and dents, but one? Ah, blacksmith, it is the one. Ah, man, it is unsmoothable. But for though thou only seest it here in my flesh, it has worked down into the bone of my skull. That is all wrinkles. But away with the child's play. No more gaffs and pikes today. Looky here. Jingle in the leather bag, as if it were full of gold coins. I, too, want a harpoon made. One that 1,000 yoke of fiends could not part, Perth. Something that will stick in a whale like his own fin bone. There's the stuff. Look-ye, blacksmith, those are the gathered nail stubs of the steel shoes of racing horses. Horseshoe stubs, sir? Why, Captain Ahab, thou hast here, then, the best and stubbornest stuff that we blacksmiths ever work. I know it, old man. These stubs will weld together like glue from the melted bones of murderers. Quick, forge me that harpoon. And forge me first 12 rods for its shank. Then wind and twist and hammer those 12 together like the yarns and strands of a tow line. Quick, I'll blow the fire. When at last the 12 rods were made, Ahab tried them one by spiraling them with his own hand round a long, heavy iron bolt. A flaw! rejecting the last one. Work that over again, Perth. This done, Perth was about to begin welding the 12 into one when Ahab stayed his hand and said he would weld his own iron. And then, with regular gasping hems, he hammered on the anvil. Perth, passing to him the glowing rods, one after another, and the hard-pressed forge, shooting up its intense, straight flame. The Parsee passed silently, and bowing over his head toward the fire, seemed invoking some curse or some blessing upon the toil. But, as Ahab looked up, he slid aside. "What's that bunch of Lucifers dodging about there for?" muttered Stubb, looking on from the forecastle. "That Parsee smells fire like a fusee, and he smells of it himself like a hot musket's powder pan." At last the shank, in one complete rod, received the final heat. And Perth, to temper it, plunged it all hissing into the cask of water nearby. The scalding steam shot up into Ahab's bent face. Wouldst thou brand me, Perth? Wincing for a moment with pain. "Have I been but forging my own branding iron, then?" "Pray God, not that. Yet I fear something, Captain Ahab. Is this not the harpoon for the white whale?" "For the widest fiend. But now, for the barbs, thou must make them thyself, man. Here are my razors, the best of steel here, and make the barbs sharp as the needle sleet of the icy sea." For a moment, the old blacksmith eyed the razors as though he would fain not use them. "Take 'em, man. I have no use for them. For now I neither shave, sup, nor pray, till... But here, to work." Fashioned at last into an arrowy shape, and welded by Perth to the shank, the steel soon pointed the end of the iron. And as the blacksmith was about giving the barbs the final heat, prior to tempering them, he cried to Ahab to place the watering cask near. No water for that. I want it of the true death temper. Ahoy there, Tashtego, Queequeg, Dagu. What say ye, ye pagans? Will ye give me as much blood as will cover this barb?" Holding it high up, a cluster of dark nods replied, "Yes." 3 punctures were made in the heathen flesh, and the white whale's barbs were then tempered. "Ego non baptizo te in nomine Patris, sed in nomine Diaboli," deliriously howled Ahab, as the malignant iron scorchingly devoured the baptismal blood. Now, mustering the spare poles from below, and selecting one of hickory, with the bark still investing it, Ahab fitted the end to the socket of iron. A coil of new tow line was then unwound, and some fathoms of it taken to Ahab, or taken to the windlass, and stretched to a great tension, pressing his foot upon it till the rope hummed like a harp string. Then, eagerly bending over it and seeing no strandings, Ahab exclaimed, "Good! And now for the seizings!" At one extremity, the rope was unstranded, and the separate spread yarns were all braided and woven round the socket of the harpoon. The pole was then driven hard up into the socket. From the lower end, the rope was traced halfway along the pole's length and firmly secured, so with intertwistings of twine. This done, pole, iron, and rope, like the three fates, remained inseparable, and Ahab moodily stalked away with the weapon. The sound of his ivory leg and the sound of the cabin, light, unnatural, half bantering, yet most piteous sound was heard. O Pip, thy wretched laugh, thy idle but unresting eye, all thy strange mummeries not unmeaningly blended within the black tragedy of the melancholy ship, and mocked it. And thus concludes chapter 113 of Moby Dick, or The Whale, by Herman Melville. Thank you very much to Kevin Zuckley, who tipped 20 during that chapter and said, "Good night, Joe." Well, thank you very much. While I go ahead and expand me, if y'all have any thoughts on that chapter, feel free to share them. Here we go. Expand Jost. Do-do-do-do. And we are going to lower the Joe opacity now, to a frigid 32%. That's Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Was it horse nails or like ship nails? No, these were horseshoe nails. Like he bought them while he was in port and brought them here. The Flanco says the Latin was, "I do not baptize you in the name of the Father, but in the name of the devil." Please don't yell in all caps, Otter. Please don't yell in all caps. Not timing you out because I'm in a good mood, but take some time to read the rules. I get that you're excited. But yeah. So we've got a whole thing here where Ahab is forging his own mythical weapon. Because he's at the point in the story where he's ready to conquer the villain. No worries, Otter. No worries. I know you mean well. You were on topic, but just watch the caps, please. Welcome, NJ. Arts and Crafts Mystic Weapon. This is the weirdest mythical weapon recipe. Honestly, I could imagine that in a video game where they're like, okay, you got to get a bunch of nails from horseshoes. Every village might have a few lying around. And so, like... Silent Whisperer, thank you for the raid. My name is Joe Hills. I'm broadcasting live from Nashville, Tennessee, here on the HermitCraft server. Online tonight are myself, Mumbo Jumbo, and Good Times with Scar. If you've never seen Joe Hills stream before, you might not realize that the face camera gets larger when people tip. We are currently 20 even away from the next face camera expansion milestone. So if anybody would like to show the Silent Whisperer raiders how that happens, tips are welcome via paypal.me/Joe Hills and YouTube Super Chat. What are we building? Well, let me tell you, we are building something absolutely bonkers. This is a huge scale project. Bell Laboratories Research and Development Campus from Homedale, New Jersey, designed by Finnish-American architect Eero Saarinen. We need to get higher up so we can actually look at this. I posted a Library of Congress link to a landscaping and architectural survey of the original site. So we're going to zoom out here. So yeah, this oval that the Bell Labs is in, the building itself is a 1/4 mile long. The oval is 600 meters on the minor diameter, 900 meters on the major diameter. We've got a labyrinth, we've got a flood, we've got a bunch of stuff, reflecting pool. I'm working on the interior and the glass tonight, mostly the glass. On the exterior of the building, actually, it's kind of where the interior and the exterior meet. We're working on the glass around the building. Since you can't do mirrored glass in Minecraft, And this building, when it was constructed, was the largest mirrored glass building in the world. I started looking at, okay, well, what does mirrored glass look like? It looks like it's reflecting the sky usually when viewed from the ground. So the block that most looks like reflecting the sky in Minecraft is packed ice. So we are placing a bunch of packed ice. Nerve 4130 says, my coworker just did training at the Library of Congress last week. Archival box making machine training. That's cool. Library of Congress would be a cool place to work. I have a history degree myself, so working in some sort of archive would be pretty awesome. But yeah, this building is large. We've been working on getting the interior walkways in. We got a bunch of interior structures that haven't been built yet, but it's coming along. Okay. I really do appreciate the Raid Silent Whisperer, but yeah, this stream was supposed to actually end about 5 minutes ago. We went a little long because I wanted to read one more chapter of Moby Dick. If you want to check out my Moby Dick playlist, I read Moby Dick every Saturday night, and we do a few chapters every Saturday. It's the only stream I guarantee every week, basically, that has a VOD. VODs are like a huge problem for streamers. If you make your own music, you end up with a bunch of weird licensing stuff, and I don't want to deal with it. Silent Whisperer says, no worries, we ended late too. The build is coming along great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for bringing people by. But yeah, like I had a big day today. It was my daughter's birthday party. So I basically spent, between when I woke up and this stream, the whole day doing birthday related stuff for her. And this stream is after she goes to bed. Or, well, it's not, technically, now that she's older, I don't make her to go to bed at 8:30 at night, but like after 8:30 at night is her quiet reading time before bed. So, yeah. But we had a whole day, and I'm exhausted, so I'm not going to stretch the stream out any longer. But yeah, I do appreciate the raid, y'all. Check out that calendar if you want to come to a future stream. Okay. Boy, I am wiped out. So let's go ahead and figure out who we want to raid. Twitch.tv/directory/following. Following. Bum 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 bum. Bum ba-dum. Da-da-da-da. Okay, it looks like Evil Notion is going to be playing Jackbox tonight. I'm not going to stick around and play. He's a fun guy. If I wasn't wiped out, though, this is where I would be after partying tonight. So when you get over to see Evil Notion, our raid message is, howdy y'all, Joe Hills raid here. Thank y'all so much again for stopping by. This was a fantastic evening. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring. Stop streaming.